This is the GCN Radio Network.
Ladies and gentlemen, here's Joe Mazza.
And here's Joe Mazza and his custody dog, Sebastian. 1-800-259-9231. We're here with Rick Sebak, all about sandwiches. Some of the favorite sandwiches across the country. If you know of a place that we haven't added to the list that Rick Sebak hasn't added, give us a call, 1-800-259-9231. That's 1-800-259-9231. Let's go back to Pittsburgh and Rick Sebak, all about sandwiches on the PBS specials. And let's continue on. Now, out in Buffalo, New York.
Before we leave New York, let's talk about Manhattan. Because, it's the home of the great delis.
How about the soup Nazi?
If you're in the mood for soup. But, we were looking for sandwiches.
Okay, go ahead.
And
they might have sandwiches, too.
I don't think he has sandwiches. It's just soup. You got to know what you want when you get there. But we went to Katz's Deli down on House Street in the East Village. And I had never been there before. Actually, when I was doing the hot dog show, I worked a lot with this guy named Stephen Shaw, a restaurant critic there in New York.
Yeah.
And he said, he thought the best hot dogs in New York were at Katz's Deli. But he didn't ever want to get a hot dog when he went there because the pastrami was so good. So that's what we went to Katz's for, the pastrami sandwich. Yeah. And literally, once you have one, you will always go back because you know that you will never find a better pastrami sandwich.
Wow.
It's they actually make the pastrami there. They make their own mustard. They pickle their own pickles.
Wow.
It's just a great place. And again, I always say that it's a good sign. It's the sign of an interesting place to go to eat if they have some sort of weird ritual about how you order.
Yeah.
If you have to go to this counter for this counter for that, or whatever, and that's somewhat the way Katz's Deli is. You have to go up to the counter and talk to the counter man. And these guys have been there for decades. They've seen it all. They know it all. They want to know, what kind of sandwich do you want? Want it lean? Do you want it juicy? And they take your ticket. You get a ticket when you walk in the door, and they scribble on the ticket to let the cashier know what you got. But it's one of those places. I think that if you're nice to the guy, you're probably going to get a little more meat on the sandwich.
Yeah, a little better sandwich than.
But they make mountainous sandwiches of corned beef, pastrami, all the deli classics. You can get great matzo ball soup there too. We tried to sample a lot of stuff. Including the hot dogs, which were really great, too. It's a landmark in New York City. I mean, there are other delis, too. There's Second Avenue Deli. Of course, there's the Carnegie Deli, where they name the sandwiches after famous people and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Katz's fit the bill perfectly for us, and we had a great time there. We talked to everybody and anybody who would talk to us, and, of course, everybody just had great things to say about the place. Actually, I love one of the sound bites that we used in the show, the guy who said, every day people ask him, where do the real New Yorkers go to eat? Where do New Yorkers go to eat, when they want to go out? And the answer is Katz's. And, if you've never been there, you may have seen it because it's also the place where they shot that famous scene with Billy Crystal and Meg Ryan when in Harry Met Sally, when she gets ecstatic in the restaurant.
Wow.
That was shot there at Katz's Deli in New York. So it's just a great place with 100 years of history and more, and really just a wonderful place to check out the next time you're on Manhattan.
Okay, now where do we have? What's the next one now? We're moving out to the, shall we say, other parts of the country. What was the next spot?
Well, I was going to say, you can always just move south to Philly because Philadelphia is one of those cities that, has a sandwich named after it, the Philadelphia cheesesteak.
The Philly cheesecake, the cheesesteak.
Right. A great sandwich. It's, thinly sliced beef again. We found out we did a lot of beef sandwiches.
All right. We'll be right back, folks.
Got $3 in your pocket? Want $1 million in term life insurance coverage? Call Term Busters now. Rates are low right now. Call and compare. For example, a man age 45, non-tobacco user, issue preferred $1 million of coverage is only $75 a month, level for the next 10 years. Call Term Busters now. 800-430-6692. 800-430-6692. If you're a smoker, we have great rates for you too. Call Term Busters now. 800-430-6692. 800-430-6692. We specialize in term life insurance policies of $500,000 or more. Remember, $1 million in term life insurance coverage for as little as $3 a day. Call right now. Operators are standing by. 800-430-6692. 800-430-6692.
If you're losing your hair and haven't tried Avacor yet, how about a free month supply? That's right. We're giving away a free month of Avacor with all of today's orders. You've heard all about Avacor on radio and TV for years. That's because Avacor is proven to successfully stop hair loss and regrow hair. Avacor has helped people just like you regain their youthful appearance with new healthy hair. So why haven't you called? We want you to try Avacor. We know that once your hair stops falling out and starts to regrow, you'll be glad you did. Still not convinced? Avacor comes with up to a full 1-year money-back guarantee. Try getting that anywhere else. Call 800-533-7298 for your risk-free trial of Avacor. Call now. 800-533-7298. That's 800-533-7298. And remember, all of today's orders will receive an additional month's supply of Avacor absolutely free. Call 800-533-7298.
Hey folks, Michael Trudeau here to tell you about the first ever half-price package sale at the ARC Institute. You'll get 25 big packets of ARC's most popular non-hybrid heirloom vegetable seeds, plus 4 of their most popular self-reliance books. Learn how to grow your own delicious veggies and build your ARC. Imagine green beans, carrots, peas, and cucumbers, tomatoes, cabbage, squash, herbs, and more. Then harvest your seeds to grow year after year for old-time self-reliance. In Living Well on Wheat, learn how to cook, eat, and survive on the golden grain. Preserve your good food for years with the USDA Canning Guide. In Surviving a Bioterrorist Attack, you'll learn how to protect yourself and your family now from the attacks our government says are coming. Not if, but when. Normally selling for $140 plus shipping, get this whole package now for only $69, and shipping is free. At half price, supplies are limited. For credit card orders, call today, 1-800-255-1912. That's 800-255-1912, or send a money order for $69 to the ARC Institute, P.O. Box 1227, Jacksonville, Oregon, 97530.
Tune in every time. Ladies and gentlemen, here's Joe Mazza.
And here's Joe Mazza and his trusty dog, Sebastian. We have Eleanor Valley coming on, and Erwin Zucker's supposed to be coming on, too. He's a special Hollywood agent. And we have Rick Sebak with us for a little longer. Rick Sebak is on the PBS special, all about the great sandwiches. And Rick Sebak, why don't you give a plug for yourself for the PBS specials that you do?
Well, I would love to. Actually,
Go right ahead.
If you haven't seen the specials, you can always check them out. They're available on VHS. Sandwiches available on DVD, too. And you can get them by going to www.es.org. Or you can go to my station's website, which is www.wqed.org. Mm-hmm. And we also have a 1-800 number, which is 1-800-874-1307. And get all these things there. If you go to the PBS website, click on Shop PBS, go to the WQED website, you click on Shop WQED, you'll see descriptions of all the programs, and, if you already got a copy of sandwiches, you might want to check out hot dogs or flea markets or great old amusement parks or the ice cream show.
Ice cream show and the hot dogs.
Yeah,
and if they pull up your name, Rick Sebak, RickSebak,
right.
They can also pull up all the things you've done with PBS and the specials.
Right. They even have a little box set you get on the PBS website. They put 4 of my shows together called Great American Fun Stuff.
Right.
So
now I got to ask you now. We're out in the Midwest someplace now, and what's the other great sandwiches throughout the United States? How many places did you have? About 20 states, 15 states?
I think we've been to 15 different places.
Okay.
I had never been to St. Louis before, and we had a great time there. St. Louis, I said, is sort of the weird sandwich capital of the world.
Right.
They have a lot of weird sandwiches, and we went to one place to try a couple of them. There's a little chain of places called C&K Barbecue.
Mm-hmm.
But they make sandwiches there. You can get a pig ear sandwich. Or
a pig's ear sandwich?
Yeah, a pig's ear sandwich. And
my dog eats those.
Well, human beings can eat them too. And
I never
actually,
tasted a pig's.
I read about them in that book Road Food by Jane and Michael Stern, and they make them sound so yummy. But I thought they sort of tasted like boiled cartilage. I wasn't crazy about the pig ear sandwiches. But at the same place, they also have snoots, which are sandwiches made from fried pig's noses. And I thought they were okay.
5 pig's noses?
Yeah. Snoot.
Aye.
A snoot sandwich.
Holy cow. Snoot sandwiches. Aye.
They serve them on white bread with a lot of barbecue sauce. And actually, the snoots, when I lived down south and we used to go to the barbecue place, they would sometimes have skins. And that's what it tasted like to me. It's that sort of, really wonderfully crunchy but meaty flavor.
Right.
And, you can't tell that it once was a stew. At least I couldn't. So it wasn't so bad. But
I wouldn't eat those, though.
But then also in St. Louis, there's another great, really weird sandwich.
Yeah.
Called a St. Paul. Now, this is in St. Louis, but the sandwich is called a St. Paul.
Yeah.
And no one has been able to figure out why they're called St. Paul sandwiches.
Okay.
But you get them at Chinese restaurants in St. Louis.
Aye.
And what it is it's an egg foo young patty on white bread.
Yes.
And you pick it up and eat it. And, they were excellent. They're dirt cheap. You can get one for $1.50.
Wow.
And,
egg foo young.
A wonderful lunch.
An egg foo young sandwich.
An egg foo young sandwich, but it's called a St. Paul. And what's really funny is if you meet somebody from St. Louis and you mention this to them, I think they think they're everywhere. I think there's people in St. Louis who don't realize it's a local phenomenon, the St. Paul sandwich.
Oh, I don't think I could eat that egg foo young sandwich. Egg foo young sandwich.
Egg foo young sandwich. It's great. It was excellent. And while we were out that way, we also stopped in Louisville, Kentucky.
Yeah.
They have a sandwich, a famous sandwich there that people hear about sometimes at Derby time and stuff like that, called a hot brown. And
it's a hot brown. Now, what is the hot brown sandwich in Louisville, Kentucky?
It's actually an open-faced turkey sandwich that has a slice of tomato and it's all covered with a thick cheese sauce.
Swiss cheese sauce on turkey.
A thick cheese sauce. I'm not sure if there's Swiss cheese in it or not. It's a big gooey, I say wintry sort of sandwich. It's a hot open-faced turkey sandwich with a slice of tomato on top and this cheese sauce poured all over it.
I never heard of that. What is it called? A hot brown.
It's named after the big old hotel downtown, which is the Brown Hotel.
Okay.
That's where they started. I say what's really odd is we have a very similar sandwich here in Pittsburgh that we call the Devonshire, which is an open-faced turkey sandwich with a slice of tomato and cheese sauce on top. So I think it's just a matter of semantics and who got to which city first to name this sandwich and all of that. But if I feel like a hot brown here, I can go get a Devonshire. But they're both great sandwiches, and on the cold winter day, it's a perfectly wonderful sandwich. And
where is that? St. Louis, Missouri?
No, that's in Louisville, Kentucky.
Louisville,
get a hot brown.
Okay.
We wandered all around out there. We also, of course, went up to Chicago. Actually, my editor, Kevin Conrad, he didn't get to travel with us. He just sees the stuff we bring back on videotape, and he says of all the sandwiches in the show, the one that he would most like to taste is the Italian beef Chicago.
Italian, what is it?
Italian beef.
Italian beef, and that's in Chicago?
In Chicago, there are a million little Italian beef stands. I mean, almost as many Italian beef stands in Chicago as hot dog stands.
Mm-hmm.
And people in Chicago know which kind they like and know which little stand they want to go to. And they're, again, thinly sliced beef, but it's actually a beef that's slow cooked and really delicious. And that's where they have the juice that they have made the beef in. They make a really wonderful sauce to dip the sandwich in. You can get the sandwich single dip, triple dip, double dip, however many times you want them to dip it in the meat, in the juice.
Right.
And then they put that hot, spicy, chopped up peppers and carrots and who knows what else is all in it, called giardiniera. And it's a good spicy relish that they put on top of these sandwiches.
Wow.
And it's a really classic, wonderful sandwich, an Italian beef Chicago.
All right. Now, what's the name of the places out there? Did you ever think about
we went to a couple of different places to try the Italian beef, but I think our favorite was Mr. Beef.
Mr. Beef.
Mr. Beef. And,
in Chicago.
Yeah. And then there's a chain of them out there, too, that we went to called Buona Beef.
Buona Beef.
Buona Beef. Buona Beef. Buona Beef. And, it seems as though the two places, may have shared some common ancestry at one point. But they both make a great, great sandwich. Very filling. Really, a wonderful taste of Chicago. I think we all know about deep dish pizza and stuff like that. But there are other culinary treats when you get to the city of Chicago, and definitely, an Italian beef is one of them. It's a great sandwich.
What about down south? What about Tennessee?
I don't think we got to Tennessee.
Louisiana.
We went down to New Orleans, however, because they have
New Orleans. What happened
they have
there?
stupendous sandwiches in New Orleans, and we checked out two actually. We went and got a po' boy, which is
po' boy.
What they call a hoagie or a submarine sandwich in New Orleans. They call it a po' boy. And
po' boy.
You get shrimp po' boys and beef po' boys and.
We'll be right back with the expert on sandwiches, Rick Sebak. 1-800-259-9231. We'll be right back.
Hey folks, Michael Trudeau here to tell you about the first ever half-price package sale at the ARC Institute. You'll get 25 big packets of ARC's most popular non-hybrid heirloom vegetable seeds, plus 4 of their most popular self-reliance books. Learn how to grow your own delicious veggies and build your ARC. Imagine green beans, carrots, peas, and cucumbers, tomatoes, cabbage, squash, herbs, and more. Then harvest your seeds to grow year after year for old-time self-reliance. In Living Well on Wheat, learn how to cook, eat, and survive on the golden grain. Preserve your good food for years with the USDA Canning Guide. In Surviving a Bioterrorist Attack, you'll learn how to protect yourself and your family now from the attacks our government says are coming. Not if, but when. Normally selling for $140 plus shipping, get this whole package now for only $69 and shipping is free. At half price, supplies are limited. For credit card orders, call today. 1-800-255-1912. That's 800-255-1912, or send a money order for $69 to the ARC Institute. P.O. Box 1227, Jacksonville, Oregon 97530.
Did you remember to take your Focus Factor this morning? No? Too bad. Every morning, men, women, and children across the country start their day with Focus Factor because they rely on it to feed their brain from the time they get up to the time they go to bed. Focus Factor contains vitamins, minerals, protective antioxidants, botanical extracts, and omega-3 fatty acids, some of which have been demonstrated in clinical studies to support healthy brain function. Focus Factor is perfect for business professionals, homemakers, seniors. There's even a special formula for children. Look, your brain is the most important thing in your life. You owe it to yourself to take good care of it. So call now and try Focus Factor. If you don't feel like it's the best supplement you've ever tried, you get your money back. Call 1-800-893-6870. That's 1-800-893-6870. Ask how you can get a free bottle with your order today for yourself or a loved one. Call 1-800-893-6870.
Hi, this is Jack Brownrigg with a gold alert from Midas Resources. Folks, it's time to shed your complacency. Gold has seldom, if ever, been a better buy. Midas Resources is now in a position to potentially show you considerable profits, but you have to act now. We have $10 collector gold coins at the closest price to melt I have seen in my 24 years in the business. These are the same coins that are likely to soon command substantial premium prices as they have in the past. We can deliver them to you now with minimal downside risk, or we can let you buy them later at a considerable higher price. Don't buy them later, folks. Do it now. That's $10 collector gold coins, $10 and $20 collector gold coins at the nearest to melt in my 24 years in this business. Call Midas Resources, 800-686-2237. That's Midas at 800-686-2237.
Through the years of providing water filters to America, you've come to us and we've listened. You asked us to make the water level visible to eliminate the guesswork when refilling the water. We listened. You asked for an elevated base so the system could be used in places beside on the edge of a counter. We listened. You asked us to develop a filter that was made in the USA. We listened. You asked us to include an emergency light for camping and during power outages. We listened. After 9/11, you asked us to develop a filter that was more powerful in removing chemical agents. Again, we listened. Introducing the Berkey Light, the gravity filter requested by America, designed by Americans, and made in America. Get the Berkey Light, the American water filter, for only $259 by calling New Millennium at 888-803-4438. That's toll-free, 888-803-4438. Not yet available in Iowa.
The phone lines are open. Call Joe Mazza at 800-259-9231.
This is Frank Monty, world-famous private investigator with offices in New York and Beverly Hills. When I'm working late night and I'm doing surveillance, working as a bodyguard or following somebody, I always listen to Joe Mazza, the Joe Mazza Show, late night. He has great entertainers and movie stars that like my business. Anything can happen on his show.
You're absolutely right, ladies and gentlemen. If you have a great sandwich place that you've gone to and you'd like to talk to Rick Sebak, give us a call, 1-800-259-9231. He does the PBS specials all about sandwiches and flea markets and amusement parks, all about fun. You've seen them on TV, and if you watch PBS, you'll actually see the famous amusement parks and hot dog stands and sandwiches. We'll talk a little about some of the great sandwiches of all time, 1-800-259-9231 across the country. All right, now, poor boys, similar to a submarine sandwich, a grinder up here?
Exactly. And, it's served with that sort of New Orleans spiciness, and, they're sort of, there's probably no city in America that cares more about its food than New Orleans. And we went to a wonderful place in the uptown section called Domalisa's. It was sort of like a neighborhood bar, the kind of place that I think you might, not be sure if you could stumble into if you were down there. But it's definitely worth checking out. Are
they big sandwiches for the money?
They are big sandwiches for the money. And, of course, because of the French influence and everything in New Orleans, the bread is stupendous. And actually, as we went around the country, no matter where we were, we always asked people, what's more important, the bread or the filling?
Right.
And it's just fun. You get the DVD. We put the answers on the DVD because they're not in the show. But, some of our favorite ones are people who vacillate back and forth while they're just trying to think about what's more important. My favorite sandwich, what makes it my favorite? Is it the filling or is it the bread? Sometimes it's the special combination. You got to have corned beef on rye.
Right.
There are other things that sometimes you have the option of flip flopping and all of that. But I tend to think that the bread is really crucial.
The bread. It's got to be homemade bread, don't you think so, Rick?
It's got to be at least fresh bread. I know sometimes it's so disappointing when you get a sandwich and the bread is just,
lousy.
Lousy, exactly right.
Yeah.
So,
lousy.
It's there's so many factors. It's an art like anything else, making a sandwich. And we just had so much fun going across the country, just checking these places out.
As you're going down throughout the country, what are some of the other places that you had some very interesting stories to tell us about? Some great sandwiches from some of these great states.
In Houston, we got one of, I think, maybe one of our favorite sandwiches of all America was at a little barbecue place called Selma's.
Selma's?
Yeah, in Houston. And actually, we feel a little bit guilty because Selma's was sort of undiscovered. And I found somebody had written about her on the Internet. We'd actually set up to go to a different barbecue place there in Houston, but it turned out that they didn't want us to come. They were doing some remodeling or something like that, and we'd already bought our tickets to go to Houston, so we had to find another sandwich place in Houston. And my associate producer, Minette Heat, and I were looking at all different kinds of things and calling people we knew in Houston and trying to figure out what sandwich we could do. And on the Internet, I came up with this Selma's. It's in a part of the city called the 3rd Ward, which is, not too great a part of town. It's sort of a warehouse district off to the east of downtown. It's not far from downtown at all. You see downtown. But in the 3rd Ward, Selma has this little wee place. She used to be a truck driver.
She used to be a truck driver?
Used to be a truck driver, but she always wanted her own barbecue place. And her father had taught her how to cook barbecue, and so finally, then one day she just said, I'm going to do this, and she's done it with great style, and, you feel like you're at her house.
Wow.
She comes out and she sits with people at the tables, and, she goes in the back and she she has chicken, she has great catfish sandwiches. It's a really
catfish
down-home
sandwich?
I'm sorry?
How is a catfish sandwich?
Well, it's a fried fish sandwich. I mean, that's almost a whole world into itself, too, the great fried fish sandwiches of America. But we had catfish sandwiches while we were there. Her brisket is just stupendous. Barbecued brisket sliced, not sliced so thin. It's just crumbling and falling apart because it's been so perfectly cooked and really wonderfully seasoned. And she makes her own barbecue sauce, of course, and just a great, great place. And I think no matter where you go in America, you can find places like that just make a place more memorable.
All homemade. We'll be right back with Rick Sebak, ladies and gentlemen. All about sandwiches. Some great ones across the country. We'll be right back.
This is the GCN Radio Network.
Berkey water filters are the ultimate filters used worldwide for normal or hostile filtration environments to provide the most delicious, sparkling, clean water possible. The Berkey Light's self-sterilizing filter elements remove pathogenic bacteria, cysts, parasites, chemicals, and they reduce lead, mercury, aluminum, nitrates, sulfur, odors, foul tastes, and much, much more. Yet they leave in the nutritional minerals that your body needs. The Berkey Light has ridges to deflect water if the upper chamber is overfilled, and it can be used anywhere on a flat surface. That's because it has an elevated base. The entire system joins together to make the Berkey Light convenient to transport, even while it's filtering water. Its rechargeable bright white LED lamps allow for optimum use at night or during emergency conditions. Get the Berkey Light, the ultimate filter, for only $259 by calling New Millennium at 888-803-4438. That's toll-free 888-803-4438. Not yet available in Iowa.
Attention inventors, need a patent? Then you need Inventec, the launch pad for new ideas. Inventec understands the needs of inventors like you, and only Inventec offers a free new product market analysis. It's the first step towards a patent and marketing success. Call 1-800-487-9933. That's 1-800-487-9933. With your market analysis, receive a free video and learn the secrets the pros use to take it to the next level. Be first to the marketplace while your idea is still hot. With our worldwide experience, Inventec can turn your idea into reality. Learn if your idea has the right stuff for marketing success. It's free. Don't let this opportunity slip away. Call now and receive your free analysis, free marketing info, and a free video. Take that all-important first step towards turning your dream into reality. Call 1-800-487-9933 to receive your free package loaded with info. That's 1-800-487-9933. Call now.
Black Berkey replacement elements are ideal for use in any gravity filter. These self-sterilizing filters can transform raw pond and lake water into delicious, crystal clear drinking water. Ideal for travel or outdoor events, and perfect in the event of hostile filtration environments such as local or national emergencies, because they remove both harmful chemicals and pathogenic bacteria from water. So powerful they can remove pathogenic bacteria, cysts, parasites to non-detectable levels. Trihalomethanes and volatile organic chemicals such as atrazine, benzene, chlorine, chloroform, and NTBE are removed to below detectable limits. They reduce nitrates and unwanted metals such as leads, mercury, aluminum, copper, and foul taste like chlorine and sulfur odors. Yet the Black Berkey filter elements leave in the helpful and beneficial minerals that your body needs. Normally $48 each, get a 2-pack for only $91 or a 4-pack for only $173. Get the powerful Black Berkey replacement filters now by calling New Millennium at 888-803-4438. That's 888-803-4438.
The phone lines are open. Call Joe Mazza at 800-259-9231.
I say one thing I love the Joe Mazza Show. It's Hyde and his wonder dog, Sebastian. My
Where's that donkey get in there? 1-800-259-9231. We have Matt in Pittsburgh for Rick Sebak. Matt, you're live on the Joe Mazza Show. How are you?
Hey, I don't know if you or Rick covered this, but if you're ever in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and down in Clearwater or somewhere in Florida, Permane Brothers sandwiches.
What kind of sandwiches are the Manley Brothers sandwiches?
Permane.
Yeah, I mean they're just a Pittsburgh classic. They're the guy who runs them here does have one. I think it's in Fort Lauderdale, actually.
That might be right.
But the original Permante's was in what's called the Strip District here in Pittsburgh. It's the produce section of town, sort of the market district. And the legend is that they created these sandwiches for truck drivers so that they could hold the whole sandwich in their hand. But it's 2 thick slices of Italian bread, and you get the meat and the cheese, usually thrown on the grill for a while. Then they put hot French fries and cold coleslaw on top of that. Put the lid on the sandwich, and you have a huge meal between 2 thick slices of Italian bread. So it's a great sandwich. 6
slices of Italian bread, and they can put the French fries, the coleslaw right in the bread.
No, thick.
Right between the bread.
Oh, thick. Thick slice. You did 6.
No, thick. And, I went down to South Carolina and had a barbecued pork sandwich and promptly put fries and coleslaw on my sandwich, and I made it back here next to the Berg. I'm north of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, in Butler, and that's a good sandwich. And I'm glad to have participated on the show. I didn't know I would listen to GCN Network and come home and think about sandwiches.
How do you like that? And I have Rick Sebak, because he's from Pittsburgh, and he's done all those PBS specials, Matt. You know, I mean, he's done all the PBS specials about the famous amusement parks, flea markets, sandwiches, and many other fun things.
Yeah, we have a ton of fun.
Ton of fun. I remember the tons of fun. They used to be on the Howdy Doody show. Vic Clinton Bullets. Remember them? Matt, you probably don't remember them.
What?
But
I'm only a young 34, graying, but a young 34.
All right. What do you do? Drive a trailer truck?
No, I'm a waiter.
A waiter? Where, one of the restaurants there?
Yeah.
One of the most exclusive restaurants around in Pittsburgh?
Well, not in Pittsburgh, but in Butler.
In Butler?
It's called the Brick House.
Do you know where the Brick House is, Rick?
No, but I could find it probably. I love Butler.
Rick, pardon me?
I said, I love the town of Butler. I've been, of course I always go to the hot dog shop when I'm up there. But
yeah, well, come in and let Matt take care of you at the Brick House. Blues on the weekends and comedy night every 5 weeks, and a great chef by the name of Chef Jason Demon. He wouldn't let you tour his kitchen, but I'd be happy to take care of you.
Okay, cool.
Right, Matt.
I'll check it out.
Great.
Matt, it's so nice to talk to you. I certainly
that?
appreciate the call.
Bye-bye.
And I hope you call again. He's a very interesting guy. He likes sandwiches. But we'll go out to that place.
Yeah,
is that far from you, Rick?
No, that's not far at all. Butler's about
Getting a
I'd
bad
say
connection.
30 miles north of here.
30 miles north of Pittsburgh?
Yeah. I mean, Pittsburgh's really lucky. We have a ring of small cities right around Pittsburgh. I mean, sort of in every direction. There's Greensburg, there's Beaver, there's Washington, PA, there's Greensburg. In every direction, Butler, great towns sort of circling Pittsburgh. So it makes up the greater Pittsburgh area. And each one of those towns has its own, special secrets and sort of, unexpected places you can discover if you go to visit.
All right. What else do we have now? What about towards the West Coast out there? Well,
Certainly on the West Coast, we went to Felipe's in L.A. because that's the home of the French dip.
French dip.
And lots of people know that. You can get that in lots of restaurants. It's sort of a
sure.
Again, it's usually a beef sandwich, but then they usually serve you with a little container full of beef juice. Well, the legend there at Philippe's is that a cop came in and he ordered a sandwich and somebody happened to drop it into the juice. And he came back the next day and he said, I want another one of those where you drop it in the juice.
Wow.
And that's how the French dip was born.
Yeah.
And now you can get them there. You can actually get a lamb French dip there. They have, various different kinds of meats that you can get. And it's one of those places that has an unusual way of ordering. You stand in long lines at the counter. You go up, you talk to the waitress at the counter, and she makes some of the stuff to order for you, and calls the rest into the back. And then there are communal tables, just long tables. So you sit down and you can talk to somebody, that you've never met before. And
I love it. Sounds like Durgan Park in Boston here.
Right. Have lunch with, people you've never met. And
right.
It's really
good.
A great place and sort of one of those, I say they're sort of like the most democratic places in America where everyone's sort of united by their love of great food and, hunger in the middle of the day. And, it's a place where people talk. And,
right.
It was perfect for our
as we're talking about sandwiches, great sandwiches and everything, why don't they have some of the great sandwich places open 24 hours a day? I mean, you can never get a sandwich after 10 o'clock at night or 11. What is the problem there, Rick Sebak?
I don't know. It's probably the insidious influence of franchise places that all close at 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
I know that. A little all-night diner that used to be here close to me has closed. Unfortunately, that was always my place to go if you needed a sandwich in the middle of the night.
Right.
But you're right. It gets harder and harder, doesn't it, to find a place that's open all night? So
it's really a shame. And of all the sandwiches, you like the Pittsburgh sandwiches the best, or
well, you know what? Unlike the hot dogs, which you could sort of decide which ones were your favorites, the sandwiches are so different that I think it's hard to say which ones are your favorite.
Right.
I think if I could hop on a plane tomorrow and go anywhere, I'd probably go to Maine for a lobster roll.
Maine for a lobster roll and some nice clam chowder, homemade.
Yeah, all the ocean, that kind of stuff. But at the same time, I realized that one of the other places that we did here in Pittsburgh is here in Pittsburgh we have this meat that everybody knows. It's called chipped ham. It's actually
chipped ham.
Yeah, it's a pressed.
That we got in the Army.
No, I think that was chipped beef.
Okay.
It used to get
chipped
on a shingle,
ham.
right?
What's chipped ham now?
It's a pressed ham. It's sort of like it's not the best cut of meat you ever saw, but they slice it thinner than paper,
right?
And they chip it. And people here in Pittsburgh love chipped ham. It's an institution. It was sort of created by an old chain of dairy stores that don't really exist anymore called Isley's.
Okay.
And everybody has, great fond memories of Isley's dairy stores. And one of the
Isley
things
dairies with the milk trucks.
Right. And one of the things they were famous for was chipped ham. And there is one place in the North Hills of Pittsburgh, actually right on Route 19 in Westview, where there's still an Isley's. The young couple, Tom and Gail, and they... Weisbecker is their last name. Tom and Gail Weisbecker. And they run this Isley's just like it used to be. Tom had worked in an Isley's actually for 18 years before they started closing down. So he sort of revived it. He makes a lot of the things himself and a lot of things he remembers from Isley's. But he also makes the world's best chipped ham sandwich. And
what's in that chipped ham sandwich, Rick?
Well, he calls it the slammer.
The slammer.
And he grills the chipped ham until it starts to get a little bit black, around the edges and stuff. He puts on grilled onions and melted cheese. You can have Swiss or provolone or whatever you want. But he puts it on the best homemade bun.
Oh, yeah.
And it's that sort of, it's almost like a pillow. With this great chipped ham in the middle with the onions and the cheese.
Oh, man, that tastes great now.
Slather
Sebastian,
on
want to get one of those sandwiches? Go ahead. Isley's. Go ahead. We'll order one.
The slammer. They call it the slammer because they're across the street from the local magistrate's office, and on Wednesday they see the guys going in to talk to the judge, and some of them are on their way to the slammer, so they can stop at the Isley's before they go in for a slammer.
A slammer.
Slammer on your way to the slammer.
Wow. And I have to ask you this. Are you ever going to do like a special on gas stations? Some old independent gas stations that are still around.
Yeah, now you'd have to do it now because I think they're few and far between.
They are.
But, actually there's a guy here in Pittsburgh, Jim Sacco, who always is asking me to do a gas station special.
I think that would be very advantageous, especially some of the old. My father had a gas station for 40 years in Watertown, Massachusetts, right where that place is.
Steve Hall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he had a gas station there, and I used to work there. Because I just pumped gas and stuff, and I was never a great mechanic because I never really wanted to work with my hands. I always wanted to work with my mind.
Huh?
My dog's just a little bit smarter than I am.
Well, actually, I remember.
I just, I loved working with automobiles because I have a love of automobiles. And I think if you did a special on gas stations throughout the country, independents that are still around.
Right.
Wouldn't that be nice? I mean, people would love to see that. I think it would be nice, special.
Actually, I forget where I was the other day, but, if you're on one of the old roads, sometimes you can see old gas stations. You can tell just by the structure of the building.
Sure.
That it used to be a gas station.
Right.
And that you could do those too. What do people do with the old gas stations? The kind that has the overhang. That often has an apartment or something up above where the pumps were.
Right.
And maybe the family that ran the gas station, the store, lived upstairs. And
right.
Actually, I have done one story about a gas station. I did a program several years ago called the Pennsylvania Road Show. We went all around the state of Pennsylvania looking at cool things along the roads. And in Bedford, Pennsylvania, which is in sort of south central Pennsylvania, there's in the town of Bedford, there's an old golf station called Dunkel's Golf. And it was built during the 30s, and they never updated the place. And
it's still the same.
It's still the same. It's all tile. And I said, it looks like...
Oh, yeah, my father had an all-tile station when he had an Amoco station.
Yeah, it looks like a gas station out of a Hollywood movie.
Right.
As though the gas station were designed by Aztecs.
Right, with the tile, the shiny tile.
Shiny, yellow tile.
Hey, that's
but
right.
Really beautifully designed, and actually they have tour buses now that stop there just to see that old gas station.
Right.
Because it's so beautiful and so unusual. So I know what you mean. Yeah, I think we could do a great show on gas stations.
It would be very, very interesting, no question about it, and maybe another one on variety stores, little small Ma and Pa stores.
That would be a good
Ma and Pa stores. All of a
I know
sudden,
exactly
people,
what you mean.
I want two of these, like the penny candy stores. We used to go in there when we were kids, and they had the hoodsies, and they had the creamsicles and popsicles, and they had all kinds of sundry items. Yeah, but it was like they had funny books,
right?
Comic books, and they had small toys and trinkets and penny candy, and I bet there's still a few of those around somewhere.
It'd be worth checking out. Actually, the show that I'm working on now, the next national show, will be called A Program About Unusual Buildings and Other
I love
Roadside
it, unusual
Stuff.
buildings.
And so this summer we started to shoot, and we went to the Shoe House in York, Pennsylvania, which is a house in the shape of a giant shoe.
Oh, yeah.
It was built by a guy who had a chain of shoe stores there near York, Pennsylvania. And we went up to Long Island, and we went to the Big Duck on Long Island, and that was
built... Big Duck?
Big Duck. It's a big white duck.
Yeah.
It was built in the 30s by a Long Island duck farmer to sell eggs out of. But it became a local landmark, and they've moved it a couple of times. And actually, the county owns it now because it's just, it's a beloved local landmark. And so the Big Duck, we went up to New Bedford, Massachusetts, to one of the old freight milk bottles. They're big milk bottles where they had
the
dairy
milk bottle store, yeah.
And actually, we went up there again to Ipswich, Mass. We went to a place called the Clam Box.
That Clam Box, very famous.
It's in the shape of a clam box.
That's right.
It's almost like one of those Chinese food containers, when they used to be, paper boxes.
Paper boxes.
And
that's right.
The kind of little box that if you got fried clams to go, they would be in that kind of a box. But
wow.
We also went out to the Corn Palace in Mitchell, South Dakota.
Yeah.
And that's just a big, community auditorium kind of building, but they decorate it in cobs of corn. Sort of mosaic murals.
Wow.
That change every year. And so we went out there for the Corn Festival days, the Corn Palace days. It was a week-long festival, and talked to everybody out there. And
now, when is that special going to come out?
It's going to be on. I'm going to guess it's going to be on in June or July of next year. In the summer.
2004.
We've still got a little bit more shooting to do. We're going to try and get out to the West Coast And down south, there's a couple places I want to check out. So, it's coming up.
What a great job, Rick. What a great job you have.
I have one of the world's great jobs. I know that.
It's fantastic.
The rest of the time, I make programs about Pittsburgh, and I don't know which ones I like better, the local shows or the national shows. It's a toss-up.
My good friend Henry DeLuca, who's out there.
Oh yeah, I know Henry very well.
Henry DeLuca, my good friend who did the Doo-Wop 50 on PBS.
Right.
And Jerry Butler and all the groups, all the old rock and roll groups. In fact, you see it a lot on PBS, and
right.
They try to sell it on ABC, CBS. They wouldn't buy it at all, and they had to go with PBS. And but they do. Anybody sees that Doo-Wop 50 show, ladies and gentlemen, my good friends on that show, Henry DeLuca and the Pure Gold Band out of Pittsburgh. We'll be right back, ladies and gentlemen. Wrap it up with Rick Sebak.
Nuclear reactors provide economical energy, but would you be prepared during an accident? During nuclear disasters, great amounts of radioactive iodine are released into the atmosphere, which are then readily absorbed into the body. Medical Corps' potassium iodate gives you virtually complete protection from the most feared consequence of a nuclear accident, radioactive poisoning. Potassium iodate can protect against radioactive poisoning by filling the thyroid with good iodine. This shields the thyroid and prevents it from absorbing the harmful radioactive iodine. Potassium iodate is better than the iodide form because it is not as likely to cause upset stomachs in children, the elderly, the sick, and pets. Order the official potassium iodate for only $24 and save $5 by calling New Millennium at 888-803-4438. Call now and get free shipping. That's 888-803-4438.
If you're one of the millions of Americans losing their hair, chances are you've heard of Avocor. You've heard that Avocor has helped thousands of people just like you successfully regrow their hair. So why haven't you called? We know there's a lot of confusing information about treatments for baldness, but you can be assured that Avocor really works. We're permitted to say that on the air because our clinical studies and claims of success have been independently reviewed and proven true. That's right. Avocor is a proven 3-step system that helps people regrow their hair every day, even people that started losing their hair years ago. We also understand that choosing the correct treatment for hair loss is an important decision. Avocor makes it easy. Avocor comes with a 1-year money-back guarantee. Think about it. We can help you.
To order Avocor, call 800-533-7298. That's 800-533-7298. Avocor. Call 800-533-7298.
So what's in your shampoo, bath soap, and dish soap? Chlorides, dyes, ethanol, sulfates, sodiums, formaldehydes, etc.? Read the labels. Inhaling exposure can lead to coughing, wheezing, shortness of breath, headache, and nausea. Also may be irritating to the skin and mucous membranes and cause you to seek medical help. Perfumes, also known as fragrance on a label, can indicate the presence of thousands of separate ingredients. Now, just by one example, here's what's in my Calben Pure Soap Shampoo. It's all natural, earth-friendly. It contains extra virgin cocoa butter oils and vegetable protein oils. No harsh chemicals, no animal tallow or testing. So what are you waiting for? Call now, 1-800-340-7091, and find out how a family of 4 can save over $1,000 per year on all their cleaning products with Calben Pure Soaps. Call Calben toll-free at 1-800-340-7091. That's 800-340-7091, or visit calbenpuresoap.com.
The phone lines are open. Call Joe Mazza at 800-259-9231.
And I want to say, if I were Huckleberry Hound, one of the great thrills of my life has been listening with my friends Yogi and all the gang to Joe Mazza, and he's on late at night and always has a very interesting show, and I kind of especially like Sebastian the Wonder Dog.
Absolutely right, ladies and gentlemen. Rick, it's been so nice to have you on the show. Really appreciate you coming on.
Oh, I thank you, Joe, always.
Why don't you promote your CDs and your VHS, your videos to all our listeners. They make a good Christmas gift, don't they?
Oh, they make a great Christmas gift, and there's lots to choose from. In fact, if you're interested in sandwiches, the name of the sandwich show is Sandwiches That You Will Like, and we have it on VHS. We have it on DVD with lots of extras on the DVD. We also have a book called Sandwiches That You Will Like that was written by a woman named Becky Mercuri, who lives up in upstate New York. And I wrote the last chapter, which is a little bit about putting the show together, but she did this wonderful history book about sandwiches. You can get the book, the VHS, and the DVD at our website at WQED, which is www.wqed.org. You get to that homepage, just click on Shop WQED, and you'll find all the shows that we've done lately. There's national shows, there's local shows. They're all good. And you can also get my national shows at pbs.org. And when you get there, just click on Shop PBS. And I think there you have to do a search. But if you search on my name, or which is Sebak, or if you search on sandwiches, you'll find the show. And either way, it's really great. There's a 1-800 number here in Pittsburgh that you can call too. And I know that those people up there, they're right there in my building, and Mary Ann and Robin and everybody, they take care of you really fast if you're interested. And they have a 1-800 number, which is 1-800-274-1307. I think I said it wrong before. I think I said 874, but it's 1-800-274-1307. You could call right now and leave a message for them, but they can connect you with all the shows.
It's so nice to have you on the show. Happy holidays to you. I'm going to call you in 2004.
Excellent. I'll be ready.
All right, Rick.
Thanks, Joe, very much.
I really appreciate you coming on. Very interesting guy. Rick Sebak, ladies and gentlemen, on the PBS special, and you can go right up on his website. Just dial in Rick Sebak, RickSebak. Well, right up and tells you all about him and his famous episodes with PBS and the sandwiches, amusement parks, and all sorts of great things. In the meantime, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to have Eleanor Valley on the show. She just got married, back from her honeymoon from Italy. What? She married a much younger guy. And we're going to get to the story behind the story. Remember I told you when Eleanor Valley, she sold her house back in 86? 87. He died in 86. I think she sold her house like in 87 or 88 to Arsenio Hall, and Arsenio Hall tore it all down, and the building department wouldn't give Arsenio Hall a permit up there in the hills of Hollywood, California, Beverly Hills. We'll get the story behind the story, and she was very young when she married Rudy Valley. Her name is Eleanor Valley, and the book is called My Vagabond Lover. We're going to have her on the show in the next hour. She's a very interesting gal. In the meantime, ladies and gentlemen, check me and my trusty dog Sebastian out at www.joemazzashow.com. That's www.joemazzashow.com. I got to say hello to my friends at the Keno Room out there in the Foxwoods Casino. My good friend Joe and El Toro and Gene and Jessica. All the people at the Keno Room at Foxwoods Casino. We'll be right back.
So, what's in your shampoo? Sodium lauryl sulfate? Exposure can lead to coughing, wheezing, shortness of breath, headache, and nausea. Phenol. Ingestion of even small amounts may cause circulatory collapse, paralysis.